Hello YouTube, here I am again with another tutorial. I had to replace the audio again from my GoPro because it was too low. So what I have here is a Sea Ray 330 with a twin 454 engines. It's V drives. Had it out 2 weeks ago and the starboard engine went out. I lost power. Come to find out that the fuel pump went out. I had this boat for about 5 years, 6 years, and never realized that there's a little screw on the side of the seawater housing where the fuel pump goes, where you have to check the oil level. So I never did that, and it went out. So I'm going to pull this cover and check the port side. I want to take the pump off and see what it looks like. So here we are on the port side. There's the fuel pump. It's got hard lines, so I'm going to have to remove those to get the pump off. And there's the bolt, one of the bolts. There's two bolts that hold it on, 9/16 bolts. So I'm going to take those off, pull the pump out, see what it looks like. Okay, so there you can see my fuel lines are off. And there's the fuel pump tip. Doesn't look too bad. Looks normal wear on that. Here in a minute we're going to take a look inside the fuel pump housing and take a look at the slip washer. Don't know what else to call it, but I'm going to call it a slip washer. And there it is. So you can see inside there. Doesn't look too bad. Normal wear. It's got a little oil, so that's what saved it. Now let's go to the shop. Alright, so here we are at the shop. Here's the old fuel pump that came off the starboard engine. You can see a lot different in wear pattern there. That one's pretty much wasted. And oh, there's my 1970 Dodge Challenger RT that I hope to restore someday. So here's all the bits and pieces of the starboard engine fuel pump. Went on ahead and took it apart. I wish I would have recorded it, but I didn't. I just pulled that pulley off with a power steering pump puller kit you can get from AutoZone or Advanced to pull the fan belt pulley off. There's the old shaft. You can see a lot of wear. It's pretty much fried. It's been dry for a long time. That bearing's pretty noisy. Had to turn the audio off because it was just too crappy. You can get all these parts online. I've got links, part numbers and prices below if you wanted to rebuild your own pump. There's the seawater pump. It's in good shape. I don't have to replace the impeller in it. And there's the screw right there that you have to take out and fill up the oil to that line. It's good to know that now. There's my seal, front seal. There's one of the bearings, shaft bearings. There's the other shaft bearing. This is the shaft kit, which comes with a shaft. Comes with the slip washer, that thing right there. And this washer, I'm not sure where it goes because that part was not in the old pump when it come apart. Those are all the pieces and parts. And last but not least, here is a C-clip. Okay, so here we are at the press. I'm going to press this bearing onto the shaft. I'm going to start with the short side first because the slip shaft goes on the long side of the shaft. So I'm going to put this bearing on first. Make sure everything's lined up. Take one quick look at the old one. Yep, there's the slip washer and it is on the long side, so I'm good. Nice dashboard there, huh? Okay, so here we are. I'm just going to make a quick comparison with the old shaft here to make sure I don't make any mistakes. So I'm going to make sure that that bearing is looking like it's right compared to the old one. I'm going to put the slip washer on, and it goes there, like I said, on the long side. And now I'm going to press on the bearing for the long side of the shaft. Alright, let's go back to the press. Okay, now that we've got those bearings pressed on, let's take a look, make a little comparison with the old one, see how we're doing. I'm not going to bother pressing that bearing on, but it'll give me a good idea of if this has been put together right. I think we're looking pretty good. So what I need to do now is I need to clean this housing up. It's pretty nasty inside from metal shavings and lack of oil, so I'll clean it up in some diesel fuel. I need to replace those two seals. That seal right there I need to replace, and there's a seal inside. There's two seals that go inside this housing. You can see how dirty it is in there. It's pretty caked up. And those are the two seals. So here we are at the vise. I'm going to knock out the inside seal first. There it goes. Flip it over and knock the seal out that goes towards the freshwater pump. Knock that guy out. Maybe. Okay, so I got those seals knocked out, got the housing cleaned up. So I'm just going to tap those seals in there. What I do is just find a socket that's pretty much the exact same size as the seal itself, the outside diameter of the seal, and I'll just tap them in with a hammer. Make sure the housing is nice and dry. Socket. It's going to cover the pores on the sockets. The old sockets are right there. Try that guy. Okay, so here we are back at the press. I got my seals put in. Got some wheel bearing grease that you can see right there on it just to keep it lubed up. I'm going to take my press. I'm going to press this shaft into the housing. There's two bearings and there's two bearing races that it presses into, so I have to get past the first one, which would be what the top bearing is going to set into, and it'll drop into the housing when it gets past that, and then I will finish pushing it in all the way. Okay, it's going to drop in. Okay, so now it just went past the first bearing retainer. Now it's going to press into both, hold the top one and the bottom bearing in. And I'm going to press this bearing in as far, just right there past the C-clip groove, just below the C-clip groove. I think you can see a little bit of it there. Just enough to get the clip in, and that's as far as I'm going to go, pushing that bearing in. Okay, now here we are. I'm going to put the C-clip in. It should just drop right in with no issues. So there we go, it's in. So now I'm going to apply the front seal. Got a little bit of wheel bearing grease on it, again to keep it kind of lubed up. Assemble it. Again, I'm just going to find me a big socket that'll fit around that seal. Need a big socket for that one, so. There we go. Now there's a big socket. Nope. Bigger. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to take the hammer and tap that seal on. I might have to grab another one of those metal plates just to kind of raise it up off the table there to make it flat. There we go. Just make sure it's good and flat. Just tap it on very, very slowly. Make sure I don't damage it. Go around the outside, and that's it. So I'm going to press the front pulley on. Now before I took it off, I took a dial indicator, that one right there, and made a measurement. And then I tightened it up so I know how far I need to push this pulley back onto the shaft. So we'll go do that right now. Okay, so here we go. Started pressing it on. Okay, so I'm going to press this pulley on. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to take my dial indicator, take the depth there, and see where I'm at. Okay, looks like I'm about a quarter of an inch off. So I'll have to put it back in the press. Put my spacer in there. I'm just going to press it on just a little bit at a time. Don't want to go too far because it's kind of a pain to get the puller and pull it back out. Okay, let's take another measurement. Try to move it into the light. You can see better. It needs to go a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to take it in a little bit more. Back off, take another measurement. I don't want to go too fast. Let's try it again. I think I'm still need to go a little bit more. I can get it here in the light, kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. Okay. Oh, it's so close. A little bit more. Okay, let's try it again. Let's take a measurement. Okay, looks pretty darn close. I think that's going to work. Like I said, it doesn't have to be super exact. Within a few millimeters it should be fine. Okay, so the front pulley's on. I'm going to install the new fuel pump. Now before I do that, I'm going to fill it up with oil. Couldn't find any specs on what kind of oil, so I'm just going to put SAE 30 motor oil in it, and I'm going to fill it up to the bottom of that fill hole where you take that screw out on the side. So I'm going to fill it up to the bottom of the hole. Okay. Put my fuel pump on. There it is. Fresh coat of paint. Got the seawater pump mounted back on. I'm ready to put it on the boat. Thanks for watching.